With a title like You Don't Actually Miss the Red War, I had to see what this video was cooking up. This comes to us from Sweatsicle, and the Red War campaign is easily one of the best campaigns in Destiny's history. I miss it. A lot of people miss it. Let's hear what the argument is for us not missing it, though.
Bungie is literally known for stealing content. Don't know why anybody is surprised that they ripped out half the game. Well, what do you mean by stealing content?
He's probably referencing sunsetting, where we paid a bunch of money for content that then got taken away, which is like absurd that you can buy content and then it can just be removed from you.
Talk about taking it away. I mean, people have held that against them since they removed a bunch of raids and campaigns back in 2020. Man, do I really want to go down the rabbit hole of, like, sunsetting? I feel like we've already talked about it so many times. It's like, I don't even know if it's really even worth. It sucks to regularly get content paid for, taken away, or sunsetted season after season. It's nearly identical to theft. Okay, let's not go that far. I get your point, but, like, you're definitely over-dramatizing.
So the one time they did sunsetting, which was Beyond Light, that I could see an argument for, I guess, theft, if you want to use that term. I don't know if I'd go necessarily that far, but I could see that as being theft, right? For the sake of the argument here, because so much paid content was removed from the game. But since then, they have not been removing content like that. Like, we haven't lost planets since then. We're just losing seasonal content, which is meant to be temporary content.
Because let's be honest, if Red War was still in the game, you would not be playing that campaign. I think, dude, people just
I might still be playing that campaign.
go too far with the whole sunsetting narrative. Yes, there are parts of the game that they should not sunset, like raid and dungeon content, and they should have never taken Outbreak or Whisper out of the game.
And planetary destinations.
That was a complete fucking throw as well. Did they rework it? Yes. And they brought it back. But let's be honest.
So then you could buy back the content that you already paid for the first time.
You're not, I can't tell you, even when, let's go back to 2020, and let's talk about when Curse of Osiris, Red War, and Warmind were in the game. I didn't know a single person that was ever replaying those story missions but me for stupid videos.
Now, even if you and the majority of people don't play it, new players coming into the game have like no clue what's going on. And I feel like an excellent introduction to Destiny 2 would be the Red War campaign. And it's easily one of the best campaigns in Destiny's history. I mean, the whole entire story is epic and really excites you and gets you interested in the Destiny universe. A lot more so than the Edge of Fate campaign, in my opinion. So even if I myself don't benefit from it, I could see why new players should experience that as they are entered into Destiny 2. And then the second part is just, even though I may not be playing it, I still paid for it, right? Like, even if I play it one time, even if I didn't play it at all, if I paid for it and I can't play it now, it's super frustrating, right? There's a lot of people that play a variety of games and they jump in and out of those games every few months or even years. And imagine you paid for that, played halfway through and took a break and came back and now it's gone.
Nobody is replaying the campaign. The campaign is usually something that you do once and you don't replay it. It's crazy that an expansion launched, people are saying wait for the next update just because of how bad it is. Would you rather somebody lie to you and make sure to use code SWEAT in the Eververse store? I love this. Guys, I love running Caldera 400 times. Yay, fun gameplay loop. Woohoo! Let's get hype about Destiny and spend money on silver so I can earn a commission. Is that what you want, bro? Is that what you want? I just don't understand the mindset. It's like, bro, okay, dude. Oh my god. I'm gonna crash out. It's like, I understand the frustration. Everybody is upset about sunsetting, but you need to be more specific instead of blanketing it over 90% of the shit that you're not gonna play anyways. Would I love for them to just not sunset anything anyways? Absolutely. But at the same time, I could understand why they do it, because the game would literally be like 400 gigabytes if that was the case, right?
We got to get the cloud storage unlocked because permanence is an important topic in the Destiny universe. We can't just have so much temporary things. Like, you need permanence when it comes to new elements being introduced to Destiny 2.
People paid $40 for Forsaken and they took everything but the raid away. What the fuck are you smoking?
The planetary destination stayed. The dungeon stayed. The strike stayed.
Guys, I love running Caldera 400
Blind well stayed.
times. Yay! Fun gameplay loop! Again, I get your frustration, and we're on the same team, but you guys are overblowing this so hard. I don't know why the balls didn't go off. It might be because you did TTS at the same time. It tends to bug. The campaign is gone, and the Tangled Shore is gone. That's all you're missing. It's not overblowing.
Bring back my Tangled Shore right now. Bring it back right now.
It's pretty much theft from Bungo. Again, let's say this campaign is still in the game. Let's say theoretically this campaign is still in the game. How often are you playing the campaign? Please tell me. And don't sit there and fucking lie to me and say you're doing it every week. You're never...
Again, I'm not playing the campaign a ton, but I think new players should get to play that piece of content. It's essential to kind of understanding the story that we're at right now. Maybe not so much after we enter a new saga, perhaps, like if we enter a whole new like narrative, like Edge of Fate kind of did that, but maybe even still you should understand that narrative element. So there's that, and then obviously, you know, the element that you paid for it.
You're gonna go back and replay that campaign. It's literally it's a mind concept. I'm not trying to argue for Bungie here. I'm being realistic, because I don't like having shit taken away either. But it's literally just a mind thing. You're just upset about something being taken away from you, even if you aren't using it. And let's be honest, most of the value that you get out of buying an expansion, we both know you get the best experience when you play it when it's hot and fresh. When I pay $40 for Forsaken like 3 years later, if it was that price 3 years later, you're not going to get as good of an experience as you would have if you played it on launch in September 2018 for $40. You're paying for an experience. Like, that's just the way a lot of these games are now, especially this game. This is not new news. You're not paying to keep something forever. Eventually the Destiny servers will shut down. I don't like that games are that way.
That's why they're having that whole Stop Killing Games commission being created, right? That petition, because people are really tired of this, where gaming studios create these games, charge money, and then they're shut down. Now, it might be a difficult thing for gaming studios to do, to leave the games in a playable state, but they really should leave all of the content that is sold to people in a playable state. I'm a big fan of that.
Again, we're on the same team here, but that's what this game currently is, and I think a lot of people don't realize that. Yeah, also to Matt's point on YouTube, people do realize there's a fine print in game that states that they can shut off the servers tomorrow and the money you put into a game can be lost at any time. Yes.
So even though there's a fine print that they could technically do that, that would obviously ruin all player sentiment for that company. Like, just because you can legally or technically do something does not mean that it's a good idea by any means. And if Bungie were to just randomly shut off D1 right now, like say, this is it, you can't ever log back into Destiny 1 again, it's over, it's been gone for X amount of years now, people would be so pissed, right? Like, if you're going to leave D1 and not update it anymore, at least leave it in a playable state so people can play through everything that they bought in that game, right?
They like, good luck trying to pursue anything legal. Like, it's I don't even know how to describe it better than that. I feel like that says everything that you need to about it. I'd rather they remove content for game stability and keep expanding, but it shouldn't include raids. Exactly the mindset that most people probably should have. Exactly that, but the problem is the inflow is not matching the outflow. That's the problem that I think people are really upset about, but a lot of people don't realize it, because they're still upset about losing their Red War campaign back in 2020. There's a truth nuke for you. As a new player, all the expansions right now already took up so much time. I would hate to have to play even more of them. See, that's the even harder part is...
All right, complaining about there being too much content is absolutely wild, though. Like, let's be real here. You should always want and be an advocate for having more things. And if there's so much to do in Destiny 2 that you can't even get through it all, that's a good problem to have. That just means that whenever you log into the game, there's something to do. The opposite of that would be terrible. Like, there's just, you log in and you're like, I have nothing to do in this game. There's nothing here. There's nothing of value to me to play.
This is why I literally saw this. I'm just gonna say it. I saw this shit coming a mile away back in 2019. I've been talking about a D3 for 6 years. and nobody wanted to understand it until more recently. When you bring in new players, it makes the experience 10 times worse when they do have to catch up on everything. And at the same time, if they just keep adding more content to the game, that's more shit that they have to patch, that they have to balance, if they don't get rid of anything. It becomes an impossible task to try and balance everything.
Well, it's not an absolute necessity that you have to catch up on some of these things, though, right? Like, it's just there for you if you want to catch up on the narrative and experience these campaigns that happened throughout those moments in history. So it's more like you don't need that. Like, for example, you wouldn't need to do the Red War campaign right now to power level in the Edge of Fate. Yeah, you wouldn't need to do these things. It's just, it's there for you if you're interested. Like, hey, what was the Red War campaign about? You know, maybe someone mentions Gaul and you think, well, what's that whole story about? You know, it's in the game for you to go experience. Go launch the campaign if you're curious, right? That's a nice added feature to have for new players. It's nice to have a ton of legacy content in the game, and it adds a big back catalog of things for people to do if they want to. It shouldn't be forced on anyone. You obviously shouldn't need to do them in order to unlock certain features in the game or to level or anything like that. It should just be there as an optional thing for new players and existing players that paid for it.
It legitimately does, which is why Destiny Infinitely Expanding is not good. A fresh start would not only allow them to balance things better, but it would put everybody on the same page. And it just, there's so many positives to it.
So he's pro Destiny 3, and this has been a very hot topic for a long time, which is Destiny 3 would require a fresh start. Destiny 3 would obviously bring in a whole ton of new players. The problem is that we've kind of seen what Bungie is capable of from a creative standpoint. So Destiny 3 would have a lot of recycled and reused contents from Destiny 2, which would be very problematic because then people would feel like they were being sold the same thing again for maybe even the second or third time at this point, which is a big problem. Bungie has gotten away with an insane amount of recycled content, and unfortunately, they've also just recently had multiple rounds of layoffs, so it's pretty obvious that Destiny 3 is not going to happen. Not now, probably not ever. And I'm kind of okay with that because it's meant to be a live service game. It's meant to go on and on and on, just like the other live service games that have been going on for many, many years now. That's the trajectory of Destiny 2. It's not meant to stop and suddenly turn back into the box service game like D1 was or D2's launch. It's not trying to revert back to the ways of old. We're trying to keep up to date with the new systems, with the live service model, keep pumping in new content, exciting new experiences, stay up to date with the trends and everything that's happening in the gaming world. And that's where Destiny 2 is. It's a live service game. It's meant to keep updating, and it's going to get bloated and bigger with time. And it's already gotten absolutely huge when you think of the file size, right? And there may come a point where it's just too big, but hopefully, cloud stuff should maybe help mitigate some of those issues. I'm not sure. I don't know what happens in 5-10 years from now with Destiny's file size, right?
It's not a truth nuke. These campaigns are really the only way to understand the story. How the fuck are players going to understand the significance of the characters without previous stories?
Yes, thank you. That is such a good comment.
Fucking youtube.com/bife. That's how you do it, bro.
No. No. In order to understand the new video game that you just bought, you now have to go find youtube.com/bife. The problem is you're a new player. You don't even know who Bife is. And you're just trying to experience this new game in this new world. All of the experiences and the story and the lore should be in the game itself. You shouldn't have to go some third-party guy, third-party site to figure out and go to some Destiny wiki to understand what's going on. That's definitely, I do not agree with that one.
You don't show up to a new job and they fill you in on the last 8 years of drama in the office, bro. in like 3 hours. That's not how that works. I think, honestly, again, it sounds like I'm dick riding Bungie. It really does. But like, you cannot expect them to try and explain 10 years of Destiny story to you in like 20 minutes. Figuratively, right?
No one's expecting them to explain all the years of story in 10 minutes. What we're expecting is for those years of story to still be in the game, so that if the new players choose to experience it, they have the option. Because otherwise, the story is a convoluted mess, and the new player onboarding is painful.
I don't understand like why people can't realize that. Because that's what they have the timeline reflection for. Is it's supposed to give you a brief synopsis of what the story is thus far. Does it do a good job? No. Have I been here for the entire decade and still have no idea what the fuck is going on? Absolutely. If you care about the story, go to a lore YouTube channel. I think you are being incredibly like naive if you expect to boot up this game for the first time and understand all the lore within even like a week. Because something like this is not going to do that. This gives you like a brief idea.
Yeah, just like the 2 paragraphs description of the Red War campaign, right?
But again, reading 2 paragraphs for every single year that this game has been out doesn't really give you the full picture.
Yeah, so you start there, you begin to piece together, okay, these who these characters are and their significance to this story and what the, chronological order of events has been that has led me to this point, right? And this is where I'm at in the story. Now, if you want deeper context and understanding and a more rich understanding, you can go play the campaigns ideally. And then if you really want to get into like the deep lore and understand, then you can go watch the 4-hour Bife videos, right? You can go watch the lengthy stuff if you have already invested the time to play them. And that gives you a ton of stuff to do. I mean, at that point in time, if you're a new player jumping in the game now, if you think about all there is to do, you probably couldn't even get it done in years' time with no job, just doing nothing but trying to figure this stuff out.
You just kind of have to do your own research. There's literally, I'd love for someone to try and like come up with some idea that would be better for players to understand the story, because I really don't think there is an option to do that. To understand a decade-old story in a short amount of time is not a realistic task to expect from a publisher like Bungie or a developer. And if they spent a bunch of time doing something like that, you know what else it does? It takes away from them being able to develop more things like dungeons and raids. That's exactly what it would do. New returning players need a good starting story to get into the free-to-play experience.
I agree with that statement.
I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing. If they're not keeping old/legacy content because of balance, they don't need to balance it. Just have it available for the sake of playing. Again, you're thinking logically, but the problem is it just doesn't work that way. Let's take, for example, Duality, the dungeon. Literally, when this expansion came out, people couldn't finish the dungeon because there was
it was soft locked randomly.
Random bug that popped up where if you hit the bell, it like kills you.
That's on Bungie for having just dog water spaghetti code putting their game together, though.
They don't have a choice but to balance it if they keep it, because shit like that comes up. It's just it's kind of like, how could I explain it? It's like you go to work like an office job where you're like inputting data, but like let's say every month they give you like a new task to do, and you get your tasks every week, right? So eventually, like in month 1 you have 1 task to do a week. Month 2 you have 2 tasks to do. Month 3 you have 3, and it just keeps adding. And the only way to keep up with that is to hire more people. And we both know that that is the opposite of what they've been doing. You can't win with people no matter what happens or what is done. People always have something to complain about. That is also true, because there's always something you could be doing better. Do a lot of people operate from that mindset? Not necessarily, but people will never be fully satisfied. And I think at a certain point, they kind of just gave up on trying to make people super satisfied and just, like, obviously switched towards how much money can we make with microtransactions while still putting out the least amount of product possible. And they kind of, like, self-admitted to that in their game developer conference thing from 2022 that we talked about. Everybody talked about 1,000,000 times. Just because people are complaining doesn't mean it's not true. Yeah, again, you're literally fighting ghosts. We're on the same team, bro. I'm not arguing against you. I'm just saying people need to have the holistic perspective instead of, I don't know. It frustrates me when, like, I don't expect, like, people who are new to this game to understand everything fully, but, like, I really wish people would just be able to take a step back and realize the bigger picture on some things, especially sunsetting.
So to summarize kind of what he's saying, I mean, the video's not over yet, but to summarize kind of what he's saying is that basically if the Red War campaign was in the game still, people wouldn't really be playing it, but it would come at a cost, a developmental cost for Bungie to constantly update it as every new expansion comes out, A good example was the dungeon, like you mentioned, randomly is soft locked. And so Bungie has to go back. Nothing in Edge of Fate updated duality in any way, though. But for some reason, the bells were, whenever you activated them, it didn't take you to the other side. So it's just soft locked in the first encounter. And so things like that just cost Bungie more money and more developmental effort because they have to go back into duality for some crazy reason in the middle of the new expansion and go fix that. And so if they keep something like the Red War campaign in the game, then they would have to presumably also go back and fix issues here and there, which is true to some degree, but also like I'm not gonna go boohoo and feel bad for multi-billion-dollar company for making a campaign and needing to like, I don't know, leave it in a playable state for long enough that everyone that plays within the exact narrative saga can play it, right? Like we're talking about keeping it updated at least within the Light and Darkness saga right now, right? So that way anyone that enters this narrative period of time can jump in and understand the story if they choose to do so. And then if they don't want to understand the narrative, right? If they don't care about that, they just want to play space shooter game and collect loot, then that's fine too. A lot of people will be of that opinion, but some people really want to understand the lore and the story, and it's not even in the game for them to play. Their only resource is to, like you said, go on YouTube and start watching Bife videos and old videos in order to figure out what happened in the past.
Why couldn't things just be simple and we go back to Forsaken, huh? Why did they have to get greedy? People also feel like they have to start everything from the beginning. Now, for some things that is possible now because of the internet, but it wasn't long ago that the odds are when you found media you liked, you just had to start at the current place and go from there. Like for TV, you had to watch the current episode to figure out what was going on from context. If you were lucky, reruns. Yeah, it is interesting how media consumption has changed, especially in games. It's not greed. It's you have more resources as a game company, you start to experiment with other types of content that shift away from the community's desires. Well, it's been very obvious that they're trying to reach other markets because for the past few years, they've been trying to reach Asian markets, especially with the mobile game coming out. But it's like you can't completely. The problem, people are upset because the people that got them to where they were feel neglected. It would almost like, it would probably be, a good comparison would be like, if I just picked up everything tomorrow and never played Destiny again and just played Minecraft instead, a lot of you guys would probably be upset and wouldn't come back. Which is, like, if that's what I want to do, that's okay, but like, if I just completely disrespected all the people that got me to where I were, I can understand why people would be upset. Just as a big corpo company, they don't really give a fuck. Even if they're neglected, there's going to be a good portion of players that still show up regardless. Minecraft, Sweatcicle, I'm down. I mean, there will obviously come a day where I don't play anymore. Like, whether... I don't want that to come, but... You know, it's not gonna... This game isn't gonna last forever. That's why I've always said, like, you gotta kind of enjoy the good moments when we get them.
All right, there it is. That was You Don't Actually Miss the Red War, which was an interesting commentary piece from Sweatcicle here. Bungie keeping these campaigns in the game does come at a cost. They have to fix it, update it, but I think it's a weak argument because the developmental effort required to create the campaign is significantly more than what it takes to maintain it. I mean, sure, once in a while, a little bug pops up here and there. You're going to fix it. It's worth it, especially because it, one, helps new players onboarding have a much better experience, and two, your existing players that paid for that content feel rewarded. They get to keep the content that they paid for, right? This has easily been the most difficult topic for Destiny players over the years to get over. In fact, even now, like even this topic right now, most people in the comment section of this video will not be over it. They'll still be mad at Bungie for taking away the content that they paid for. So it's obvious that it's a bad decision. It was clear that taking away the Red War campaign was a massive L for Bungie, like across the board. Even they regret it. That's why they said shortly afterwards that they would never be sunsetting any more content again. It's just pretty obvious that they regretted that. So I think it should just be said that in a different timeline where Bungie didn't sunset the Red War campaign and that other stuff, player sentiment for the game would be significantly higher. Bungie would have to work a little bit harder to maintain these things from expansion to expansion. And the game might be a little bit bigger in file size, a little more bloated, but I don't know what the solution to that is. I don't know how big can a game get really? You know, how big is GTA 6 going to be? You know, how big of a file size can Destiny 2 become? I'll look this up right now actually. What is the biggest console game file size ever? The largest console game file size is Ark Survival Evolved with an install size of 275 gigabytes. What is Edge of Fate console file size? It says Destiny 2 Edge of Fate. The pre-installation requires 319 gigabytes due to the existing Destiny 2 install. So because Destiny 2 currently exists on the console, the total capacity is 319, but for Edge of Fate, it was around 155, about 150 gigabytes. So it's getting up there. It's getting up there. We're pushing the boundaries for sure. But at the end, I believe that that means the final file size for Destiny 2 is 155, whereas Ark has 275. So we still got some more room. We got a lot more room, baby. Bring that Red War back now. I want it. I would play it. If Red War campaign was brought back, I'd play through it. Let me know what you think about it down in the comment section below, and make sure to subscribe, smash the like button. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Later.